Create a better future for the Chinese nation, hand in hand. April 8th and October 6th, 2013. Main points of talks with Vincent Hsu, Honorary Chairman of the Cross-Straits Common Market Foundation of Taiwan, and his delegation. 1. The Chinese mainland is strong in its resolution and clear in its policies and principles for peaceful development on both sides of the Taiwan Straits. We will maintain the continuity of our fundamental strategy towards Taiwan, continue to implement effective policies, and keep moving our relations forward so as to bring benefits to the people on both sides. The Chinese people on both sides of the Taiwan Straits should strengthen solidarity and cooperation and jointly work towards realizing the Chinese dream, a great renewal of the Chinese nation. Comprehensive, directive, and two-way links, namely the three direct links, have been realized between the mainland and Taiwan. Footnote 1. The three direct links are direct links in postal matters, transportation, and trade between the Chinese mainland and Taiwan. End of footnote 1. The signing and implementation of the Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement, ECFA, in particular, initiated a new stage for developing cross-straits economic relations. Those who are clear about the trend of the times will stand in the van, and those who can take advantage of the trend of the times are bound to succeed. For the Chinese people on both sides of the straits, it is important to be aware of and seize the opportunities history has afforded us. Follow the trend of the times. Work hand in hand to promote peaceful cross-straits relations and bring about a better future for the Chinese nation. First, we hope that cross-straits economic cooperation can be boosted by the people on both sides of the straits through the concept of one family. All of us, whether from the mainland or Taiwan, are members of the Chinese nation, and both economies are that of the Chinese nation. Giving more consideration to the needs and interests of our Taiwan compatriots, we will offer the same treatment to Taiwan enterprises as to mainland enterprises in the fields of investment and economic cooperation sooner rather than later, and provide greater scope for enhancing cross-straits economic cooperation. Second, we hope that both sides will further pursue high-level economic dialogues and coordination and raise our economic cooperation to a new level. It is essential to give better play to the role of the Economic Cooperation Committee, ECC, within the ECFA. Enhance communication on our situations, policies, and development plans, and strengthen foresight and coordination in economic cooperation. We must speed up the expansion of industrial cooperation, increase two-way investment, deepen cooperation in financial services, and explore new ways of cooperation. Third, we hope that both sides can accelerate the negotiation of subsequent agreements following the signing of the ECFA and improve our rules in respect of economic cooperation. The mainland and Taiwan should sign a service trade agreement as soon as possible and strive to complete consultations on such topics as cargo trade and dispute settlements by the end of the year. The two sides can discuss appropriate and workable measures to realize common economic growth and link the processes of regional economic cooperation of both sides, which will invigorate cross-straits economic cooperation. Fourth, we hope that people on both sides of the Taiwan Straits will jointly work towards achieving the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Every achievement made by the mainland or Taiwan can make all Chinese people proud. Our joint efforts for promoting peaceful cross-straits relations are contributions towards achieving the great renewal of the Chinese nation. We will surely overcome all difficulties and remove all barriers on the way as we move ahead, and make new progress in the peaceful development of cross-straits relations, as long as we always keep the interests of the entire Chinese nation in mind. April 8th, 2013. 2. Both sides of the straits should keep to the correct path of peaceful development of cross-straits relations. Advocate the idea that we are one family, strengthen exchanges and cooperation, and together promote the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. We must cherish historic opportunities and maintain the positive momentum of peaceful development of cross-straits relations. The people on both sides of the straits long for greater progress in their relations, so both sides should comply with the aspirations of the people, seize the opportunities, and make new achievements in such relations. We must increase political trust between the mainland and Taiwan and reinforce the common political foundation of the two sides, which are critical for maintaining the peaceful development of cross-straits relations. Sooner or later, we will have to resolve the political disputes that have long existed in cross-straits relations rather than leave them to later generations. We have stated several times that we would like to hold consultations on an equal footing with Taiwan on cross-straits political issues within the framework of one China, and make fair and reasonable arrangements. The heads of responsible departments from both sides can meet and exchange views on matters concerning cross-straits relations. Both economies are parts of the overall economy of the Chinese nation. In the new era of the Asia-Pacific economic development, the two sides can better meet challenges through enhanced cooperation. We must improve the systems of cross-straits economic cooperation while attaching more importance to promoting industrial cooperation. October 6th, 2013. Handle cross-straits relations in the overall interests of the Chinese nation. June 13th, 2013. Main points of the talk with Wu Po-xiong, Honorary Chairman of the Kuomintang of China, and his delegation. Over the past 5 years, thanks to the concerted efforts of the two parties, two sides, and people from both sides of the Taiwan Straits, we have opened a right path and made important progress in the peaceful development of cross-straits relations. Under the new circumstances, the CPC Central Committee will continue to follow its established policies and commit itself to consolidating and pushing forward the trend of peaceful development of cross-straits relations and bringing benefits to the people and the Chinese nation as a whole. I hope both parties and both sides will continue to enhance mutual trust, maintain constructive interaction, and steadily promote the comprehensive development of cross-straits relations. Strengthen the foundations for peaceful development, unite with all the people on the two sides of the straits, and work collaboratively towards the great renewal of the Chinese nation. At present, cross-straits relations are at a new starting point, and we are all facing important opportunities. We should carefully sum up our experience, have a clear understanding of the changing situation, and make responses accordingly. Resolutely follow the path of peaceful development of cross-strait relations, consolidate and further develop our political, economic, cultural, and social foundations, and bring about fresh achievements in cross-straits relations. First, we must firmly handle cross-straits relations in the overall interests of the Chinese nation. We are committed to safeguarding the fundamental interests of the Chinese nation and the common interests of all sons and daughters of China, including our Taiwan compatriots. In addressing the general picture of cross-straits relations in the overall interests of the Chinese nation, the most important and most fundamental thing to do is to maintain China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Although the mainland and Taiwan are yet to be reunited, they belong to one and same China, which is an indivisible whole. The Kuomintang and the CPC have every reason to uphold the one China stance and work together to maintain the one China framework. I hope both parties will, displaying a responsible attitude for history and the people, put the overall interests of the Chinese nation above all else. Keep in mind the overall picture of the peaceful development of cross-straits relations and move those relations steadily forward in the right direction. Second, we must handle cross-straits relations on the basis of a clear understanding of the trend of history. The great renewal of the Chinese nation has never been closer, thanks to the tireless efforts of all the sons and daughters of China. we should view from the high ground the great trend of history with changing times and the rise of the Chinese nation, and realize that the peaceful development of Cross-Straits relations has become part and parcel of China's great renewal. We should break away from outdated perceptions and identify this renewal as the common goal. This has become a prevailing trend of development in Cross-Straits relations. We should determine our own roadmap for continued progress in accordance with this. Both parties should take national renewal and the people's well-being as their bound duty. Promote unity and cooperation among compatriots as belonging to the same family. Pool the wisdom and strength of the Chinese people on both sides of the straits, and work to heal the historical trauma through working together towards national renewal, thus writing a shining page in China's journey towards prosperity. Third, we must strengthen mutual trust and constructive interactions. Seek common ground while reserving differences, and devote ourselves to pragmatic progress. The key to increasing mutual trust lies in reaching a clearer common understanding of an identical stance on the principal issue of upholding and consolidating the One China framework. Constructive interactions mean enhanced communication, consultations on an equal basis, meeting each other halfway, mutual release of goodwill, efforts to cherish the hard-won peaceful development of Cross-Straits relations, and the solving of outstanding problems in a fair and reasonable way. Seeking common ground while reserving differences demands that both sides give full play to their political wisdom, reach and expand a consensus for enhancing cross-strait relations, and properly handle and control their differences in the spirit of sharing and mutual assistance as passengers in the same boat. Pragmatic progress requires that the two sides adopt a down-to-earth approach, proceed from reality, and go for steady and incremental progress, never shrinking from difficulties, never being thrown off balance by interruptions, and being on guard against retrogression. As Cross-Straits relations have entered a new phase of consolidation and deepening, it is all the more necessary for the two sides to keep a positive and enterprising spirit, and to face and overcome difficulties on the road to progress with greater courage and determination. I hope the two sides will work together to make even greater achievements in Cross-Straits relations, while expanding steadily the scope of peaceful development of such relations. Fourth, we must firmly promote the comprehensive development of Cross-Straits relations. Above all, we must work hard to keep Cross-Straits relations stable. Forces and activities for Taiwan independence remain a real threat to the peace of the Taiwan Straits. It is therefore incumbent upon us to oppose and contain any rhetoric or move for Taiwan independence without any compromise. On the basis of overall stability in the Straits, there can be a broad scope for cross-straits exchanges and cooperation in various fields. The two sides should take more positive steps to stimulate their economic, scientific, technological, cultural, and educational cooperation. Provide greater policy support and offer still more convenient facilities so as to expand the scope and texture of cooperation, and thereby generate even greater benefits. We must endeavor to enhance the well-being of the people on both sides of the straits. All of them are entitled to the fruits of the peaceful development of cross-straits relations. We should help them while working to expand their common interests and promoting Chinese culture. Cultivate a deeper sense of Cross-Straits community of common destiny. Strengthen their national pride and reaffirm their common commitment to China's rejuvenation. Together, fulfill the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. February 18th, 2014. Speech delivered when receiving Lin Chan, Honorary Chairman of the Kuomintang of China, and his delegation. Distinguished Honorary Chairman Lin Chan and Madame Lin, dear friends from all walks of life in Taiwan, good afternoon. I am delighted to meet Chairman Lin and other friends, old and new, right after the Spring Festival. You are the first Taiwanese guests I have met since the beginning of this year, the Year of the Horse. First of all, I would like to extend my warm welcome to you. I wish you all a happy new year and every success. Chairman Lin and I have met several times and we are old friends now. He has deep feelings for our motherland and has long been an advocate of cross-straits relations and has done a great deal for the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. I greatly appreciate his dedication. A whole year's work depends on a good start in the spring. Last year, Chairman Lin and other friends also paid us a visit at the beginning of the spring, setting a favorable course for the development of cross-straits relations in the year. Progress in our relationship has been of great benefit to the people of both sides, as well as offering further potential for development. This year, we hope that both sides can work together on the basis that we are one family, seize every opportunity that presents itself, and make a concerted effort to make further progress in the peaceful development of cross-straits relations and bring more benefits to the people on both sides of the Taiwan Straits. Thank you, Chairman Lin, for the good points you have just raised on the subject of cross-straits relations, which are very enlightening to me. You are representatives of all circles in Taiwan, and I would like to have a heart-to-heart talk with you. Due to history and present circumstances, there are many thorny problems for the moment between our two sides, but this will pass, for we are both doing our best to solve them and to ensure that they do not adversely affect our relationship, our cooperation, or our exchanges. Meanwhile, the people on both sides of the straits are one family with shared blood, culture, bonds, and aspirations, all of which serve an important force for promoting our mutual understanding and common progress. First, we are one family, and no one can ever cut the veins that connect us. I am impressed by our compatriots in Taiwan for their worship of the ancestors, their love for the homeland, and their honesty, frankness, diligence, and hard work. The closeness between us is rooted in our blood, our history, and our culture. We believe that Chinese on both sides of the Taiwan Straits are members of one Chinese nation, and we all inherit and pass on Chinese culture. During the 50 years when Taiwan was occupied by the Japanese aggressors, our fellow Taiwanese maintained a strong sense of national consciousness and deep feelings for Chinese culture, regarding themselves first and foremost as members of the Chinese nation. Footnote 1. In 1895, China was defeated in the Sino-Japanese War and was forced to sign the Treaty of Shimonoseki, ceding to Japan Taiwan and the Pinghu Islands, which were returned to China after Japan's unconditional surrender in 1945 at the end of World War II. End of footnote 1. Such consciousness and feelings are inherent and natural and can never be erased. Looking back on the history of Taiwan and that of Cross-Straits relations, I have come to a clear understanding that no matter what trials and hardships Taiwan has experienced, and no matter what vicissitudes cross-strait relations have been through, the hearts of the people on both sides of the straits remain in accord with each other, and the people on both sides always show concern for and help each other. It is a simple truth that blood is thicker than water. All Taiwanese are our kinsmen, including the descendants of those who crossed the dangerous Black Ditch hundreds of years ago to seek a new life in Taiwan, and those who migrated to Taiwan a few decades ago. Footnote 2. Black Ditch refers to the Taiwan Straits. Early immigrants to Taiwan from the mainland of China mostly chose to cross the straits via the Penghu water area, where sea currents were swift and shipwrecks frequent. Since the sea water looked dark and the journey was perilous, the immigrants called this area the Black Ditch. End of footnote 2. We share origins and ancestors, and we are one close family. To strengthen these ties has been our common aspiration, and no force on earth can sever the bond between us. Second, people on both sides of the straits share the same destiny, and there is no knot that cannot be unraveled. Despite the straits that separate us geographically, we share the same destiny. A great Chinese nation will be a blessing for all Chinese, while a weak and divided one will be disastrous. After experiencing so many twists and turns in modern times, we all have a deep understanding of this. 120 years ago, China was a weak country, and the Japanese aggressors took advantage of this to occupy Taiwan. This was a traumatic experience for all Chinese people on both sides of the straits. In the bitter years when Taiwan was under Japanese occupation, countless Taiwanese compatriots shed their blood, and many laid down their lives, proving they were inseparable members of the extended family of the Chinese nation. For more than 6 decades now, although the two sides have yet to be reunited, we belong to one country and the same nation, a fact that has never changed, nor will ever change in the future. The blood of the Chinese nation flows in every one of us, and ours is forever the soul of the Chinese nation. Due to their historical suffering and the distinct social environment in which they have lived, the people of Taiwan have their own mindset. They bear particular historical scars. They are eager to be masters of their own destiny. They cherish their established social systems and way of life, and they wish to live a stable and happy life. Putting ourselves in their place, we can fully understand their feelings. We identify with our compatriots in Taiwan in terms of their historical trauma, for it is a shared trauma of all sons and daughters of the Chinese nation. With the advent of the new era, it has become a common goal cherished by each one of us on both sides of the straits to become a dignified Chinese and a helmsman of his own destiny. Family affection heals trauma, and sincerity leads to realistic solutions to problems. We have no lack of patience and have confidence aplenty. Family affection can not only heal wounds, relieve pain, and unlock hearts, but help achieve mutual affinity. We respect the social system and the way of life chosen by the people of Taiwan and would also like them to be first in sharing the opportunities brought by the mainland's development. None of us can choose our history, but we can all seize the moment and create a better future. Third, the people on both sides of the straits should join our efforts in promoting peaceful cross-straits relations. Over the past 5 years or more, we have chosen together the path of peaceful development in cross-straits relations. As a result, we have broken new ground to the benefit of all concerned. Facts have proved that this is the right path, leading to peace, common development, national rejuvenation, and mutual benefit. The two sides should eliminate all obstacles and advance along this path firmly, step by step, and with full confidence. The current peaceful development of cross-straits relations is beneficial to both sides, and no one wants to reverse such a favorable trend. For this reason, the two sides must consolidate and hold fast to our common foundation of the 1992 consensus and our opposition to Taiwan independence, and be fully aware of the importance of maintaining the One China framework. Footnote 3. The 1992 consensus refers to an oral agreement reached at a November 1992 meeting between the Association for Relations Across the Taiwan Straits, ARATS, based on the Mainland and the Straits Exchange Foundation, SEF, based in Taiwan. The meeting discussed how to express the One China principle in negotiations on general affairs, and agreed that both sides would follow the One China principle, with each with its respective interpretation. End of footnote 3. Such a foundation is the anchor for Cross-Straits relations. Only when our vessel is at anchor will we be able to sit tight on the fishing boat despite the rising wind and surging waves. As long as a solid foundation is maintained, the prospects for Cross-Straits relations will continue to grow brighter. If the foundation is jeopardized, the relations will go back to turbulence and instability. Only recently, a consensus was reached at a meeting of the heads of departments in charge of Cross-Straits affairs from both sides, which is conducive to the all-round development of Cross-Straits relations. As far as any significant political differences between the mainland and Taiwan are concerned, we are willing to conduct consultations with the people of Taiwan based on equality within the One China framework and come to reasonable arrangements. We are ready to communicate with the people of Taiwan on any and every subject. Not every problem has an ideal solution, but where there is communication, there is hope. And, as a saying goes, faith can move mountains. I believe that the people of China on both sides of the straits have the wisdom to find the right approach to the problems between us. When everybody adds wood to the fire, the flames rise high. We invite more of our compatriots in Taiwan to work together with us. Let us make a concerted effort, work out effective methods, and pool all of our wisdom and strength so as to consolidate and expand the peaceful development of Cross-Straits relations. Transform this goal into an irresistible historic trend and bring the benefits to the general public in Taiwan, and in particular to those at the grassroots. We will welcome people from Taiwan and treat them equally and without discrimination, regardless of whatever stance they might previously have taken, to boost the peaceful development of Cross-Straits relations. Fourth, the people of the two sides should work hand in hand towards the Chinese dream, the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. These were the long-cherished wishes of Dr. Sun Yat-sen, to achieve the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, to realize the greatness and prosperity of China, and to ensure the happiness of the Chinese people. Footnote 4. Sun Yat-sen, 1866 to 1925, also known as Sun Wen and Sun Zhongshan, was revered as a great national hero, a patriot, and a forerunner of the Chinese Democratic Revolution, and put forward the political philosophy known as the Three Principles of the People. nationalism, democracy, and the people's livelihood. He was the first to call for the revival of the Chinese nation, and under his leadership, the rule of absolute monarchy that had lasted for thousands of years in China was finally ended by the Revolution of 1911. Later, with the help of the CPC, the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, and Vladimir Lenin, Sun Yat-sen reorganized the Kuomintang, adopted the new three principles of the people, which consisted of alliance with the Soviets, alliance with the Communist Party of China, and helping the farmers and workers, established cooperation between the Kuomintang and the Communists, and advanced the anti-imperialist and anti-feudal democratic revolution in China. End of footnote 4. These have also been the long-cherished wishes of all CPC members and all the Chinese people since the advent of modern times. The Chinese dream is a vivid expression of this wish. Just as Chairman Lin has said, the Chinese dream is closely related to Taiwan's future. It is a dream shared by both sides of the Straits and can only be realized through joint effort. As the saying goes, if brothers are of the same mind, their edge can cut through metal. Footnote 5. The Book of Changes, Zhou Yi, also known as I Ching. End of footnote 5. The people of both sides of the Straits, regardless of their parties, social strata, religions, or localities, should support each other in achieving national rejuvenation and the Chinese dream as quickly as possible. We treat the people of Taiwan in all sincerity, and we are open to advice from all sides. We will do our best to deal properly with any matter concerning the well-being of our compatriots in Taiwan, the peaceful development of cross-strait relations, and the overall interests of the Chinese nation. We will do our best to ensure that the people of Taiwan benefit from the peaceful development of cross-straits relations, and to ensure that all Chinese people live a better life. Enjoy your stay here. Thank you. Take on the task of expanding cross-straits relations and achieving national rejuvenation. May 7th, 2014. Main points of the talk with James Song Chu Yu, Chairman of the Taiwan's People First Party, and his delegation. The peaceful development of cross-straits relations is a choice made by the people on both sides of the Taiwan Straits in accordance with the historical trend. As long as we stick to the idea that we are one family, put ourselves in each other's shoes, and treat one another with all sincerity, there are no hard feelings which cannot be removed, and no difficulties which cannot be overcome between us. The overall situation of the peaceful development of cross-straits relations is stable and can stand the test of any storm. In general, our relations have been improving over the decades, which is a reflection of the trend of history, despite the occasional ups and downs. Peaceful development is the common aspiration of the people on both sides of the Straits, and it brings benefits to both sides, we will not change our policies or measures for promoting peaceful cross-straits relations, abandon the pragmatic measures of promoting cross-straits exchanges, cooperation, and mutually beneficial results, dampen our enthusiasm for uniting with our Taiwan compatriots in making progress, or waver in our opposition to any scheme of Taiwan independence. We sincerely hope that our Taiwan compatriots can enjoy a peaceful and happy life in a stable society with sustainable economic growth and improved well-being. Developing peaceful cross-straits relations is a long-term and arduous task that calls for deeper mutual trust between the two sides. Mutual trust leads to solutions to many difficult problems. We must create the conditions for expanding contacts in various fields among the people from all walks of life on both sides of the straits. Increase face-to-face and heart-to-heart communication, enhance mutual understanding, and close the psychological gap between the two sides. The prospects for peaceful development of cross-straits relations are broad and promising, and continuous efforts need to be made to expand them. Bringing the comprehensive reform to a higher level and opening wider to the outside world by the mainland will give a strong momentum and favorable conditions for cross-straits economic cooperation. Economic integration is conducive to mutual benefits, so it should not be disturbed at any time or in any circumstances. We will try to gain an in-depth knowledge of the real needs of ordinary, especially grassroots, Taiwan people, and take positive and effective measures to take care of disadvantaged groups, so that more Taiwan compatriots can benefit from cross-straits, economic exchanges, and cooperation. The younger generation is entrusted with the future of cross-straits relations. We must work out more measures and create more opportunities for them so that they can have more contacts and communication. Perceive the trend of peaceful development of cross-straits relations and that of the great renewal of the Chinese nation, so as to enable them to assume the responsibilities of expanding cross-straits relations and achieving the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation in the future. We hope that the People First Party will adhere to the One China stand and continue its opposition to any scheme of Taiwan independence, firmly maintain the overall situation of peaceful development of cross-strait relations, and promote the overall interests of the Chinese nation, together with people from all walks of life in Taiwan.